Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with number 103 in the series Viewers Games. It is the turn of Srikanth. Hello Rick, this is Srikanth here. I recently played a game online and would like you to review my game. I generally try to play my games in the most principled fashion since it suits my style of play and usually refrain from playing aggressive lines. But in this game I tried something different. In this game I played somewhat of the Keras attack against the Philidor defense. I thank you for the videos you make as I found them to be very instructive and useful and hope that you would make many more of them, says Srikanth. And he was white in this game. It was played on the chess.com server with a 5-minute time control. Srikanth had a rating of 1457 and his opponent Jeremiah 11 had a rating of 1486, so quite similar ratings. And Srikanth opened with the e-pawn. e5, knight f3, and indeed black plays the Philidor defense with d6. Both players follow the main line for a number of moves. Let's put those moves on the board. Bishop e2, castling, and now indeed here comes the Keras attack g4. It's a move from the Sicilian opening where it often is a pawn sacrifice, not in this case. That pawn is attacked twice but also defended twice by bishop and the queen. It's not the main move in this position, g4. The main move is actually castling, then rook e8, and then f4. That's the main line. But g4, as mentioned, was played by Srikanth, an aggressive move. And in all games between strong players, d5 was played here, and then e5, and the knight goes to e4. But black, Jeremiah 11, did not play d5, he played c5. Hitting the knight, knight f5, the knight is active on that square. Srikanth went to b3, a less active square for that knight. But not a bad move. a6, g5, kicked the knight back, went back to d7, and h4. Srikanth says A, and now he says B. He's going forward on the king side. He's going to attack the black king on g8. b5, looking for counterplay on the other side of the board. Bishop e3 developing. Bishop b7 developing. And knight d5. Nice square for the knight there. Here the engine wants to play knight b6 to get rid of that strong knight straight away. But black played knight e5 instead. That knight looks very nice there as well. But it gets kicked straight away by Srikanth. f4. Knight to c4, and now Srikanth took. B takes, and knight d2. Black has opened a line on the queen side, which would be nice for his counterplay, but his only problem is that the white king is not on the queen side, it's still in the center. Often in positions with opposite castling, it makes a lot of sense to open a line against white's king on c1 or b1, but in this case, the king is not there yet, so it is less powerful to have that open line. Also, the pawn on c4 is now hanging. Black decided to take that strong knight off the board. E takes d5, and here c3 is the best move, giving up the pawn, but shattering white's pawn formation on the queen side. B takes c3 and then queen a5, for example. But black played queen a5 straight away. Pinning the knight can now not take on c4. So c3 was played by Srikanth, unpinning the knight, and here queen b5 is the best move, defending the pawn and attacking this pawn on b2. But black played a bad one, he played f6, and that is not a good move. Srikanth now took the pawn, with a tempo on the queen dropped back, and queen c2, nice move, bringing the queen into the attack. The queen is now also looking at black's king. Here knight d7 is the best move, bringing this piece into play, but it has to be said that black's position is already quite bad. Not only is a pawn down, but white's attack on the king's side is strong. In the game, knight d7 was not played by black. He took on g5. That's a bad move, and why? It is allowing white to open the h-file. And Shrikant took with the h-pawn and now has this lovely open file for his rook. So with that move, f takes g5, black actually helped white with his attack, and that's not what you want to do. g6, queen h2, nice switch from Her Majesty from the queen side to the king side. There's a checkmate threat on h7, so rook f7 was played, and castling queenside from Shrikant, bringing the rook from a1 into the game, and black's queenside is still undeveloped. He is far away from any substantial counterplay along the b file. So putting the king there on c1 is okay. Knight d7, black really has to start getting his counterplay off the ground quickly. And queen h3, which is a bit hesitant. Shrikant is eyeing up the e6 square. That is a nice square for his queen, but he could have struck straight away with f5 instead of queen h3, with the aim to wreck the defense around black's king. That is the strongest move in the position. Let's look at the variation. For example, g takes f5 and then g6. And you cannot take that pawn because we have a checkmate in the corner. So with f5, white can break down the defense around black's king. You cannot take with the rook after f5, because then there's a mate in 3. Do you see it? It's very simple. Taking on h7, king f8 only move, another check, king f7 only move, and this is checkmate. So f5 really was a good option for white. But queen h3 was played, which is not a bad move, but there was a stronger one. Here knight f8 is the best move in the position. Black is saying to white, I'm going to fight for my life, you'll have to prove that your attack is strong enough. And white is better, white is winning in this position, but you still have to prove it. But in the game, after queen h3, knight f8 was not played, a good defensive move. Black played a5, and that move really does not do anything. It's just losing a move. Shrikant played a3, also not a move that does a lot. f5 again was the best move in the position. But a3 was played, not spoiling anything. And a4, another non-move. And again f5 is possible here, it's very strong. But Shrikant played rook d to f1, slowly building his attack. Nothing wrong with that. Rook b8, black is desperately looking for counterplay to distract white from his attack. Of course, these moves a5 and a4 really did not add anything. He could have played rook b8 straight away. And now Shrikant goes for the kill. Now he played that move that we looked at a few times already. f5! Exclamation mark. Great move. Knight e5, that looks logical to jump into that hole on e5, but it doesn't work for black. White is a forced win after this move. Shrikant simply took the knight, and that potentially strong defender is now off the board. We saw it on f8 in one of the variations, and it was doing a very good defensive job there, but now it's off the board for a piece that was on c4, which did not really take part in the attack yet. D takes e5, and now f takes g6. Rook takes f1 check. You have to take back. And now the threat is queen takes h7 checkmate. And also rook f7 is a threat. It all wins for white. H takes g6 was played by black. And now queen e6 check is the quickest way to mate. King h8 and queen f7 and checkmate with rook h1 will be coming. In the game, Shrikant played rook h1, and that's also good enough. Queen b7, black finally has a threat of his own, but it's too late. There's a mate in 2 in the position, and we saw this mate already. Rook h7 is checkmate. This pawn does a good job taking the e6 square away. Quite a crushing win from Shrikant over an opponent that was slightly higher rated than himself. Well played, Shrikant. You played really, really well. It was a very nice game to analyze, and I hope that Chess to Impress viewers enjoyed it. Thank you for sending in this game, Shrikant. And then we have our game, Rick against the Chess to Impress viewers. Let's put all the moves on the board. We are at the 9th move. I played h2, h3 last week, and it was your turn. And there were 17 votes in the comments underneath the videos from last week. And e7, e6 was voted for 6 times, so that's the winner. Bishop d7 3 times, e5 3 times, rook e8 twice, knight back to d7 only once, h6 once, and a6 once. So e7, e6 is your 9th move. Let's put it on the board. There we go. And my reply, my bishop is still undeveloped on c1, and I'm going to play it to g5 with a nice spin of the knight on f6. I like that square g5 for my bishop. So it's your turn again. What is your 10th move? You can put it in the comments underneath this video, and if you do that, you will be in the raffle. At the end of the game, I will raffle a chess book, which was made available by my sponsor, The Beste Zet, which means the best move. It is a web shop for chess books. If you would like your game to be analyzed, you can send it to me by email to classroomchess64@gmail.com. And if you like this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up, that you subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and that you leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. And you can submit your move, don't forget that, the 10th move for black. If you like this video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.